to the Coeus Collective. My name is Antonio Di Meglio, co-founder and CEO. Today is a very special day. We are at the NGEN Trailblazers Conference here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Law office aesthetic, hosted by the Lowenstein Sandler law firm. It's wonderful to be here today. Have you had a good day today?
I've had a great day.
And it is a great day because what we're doing now is connecting university entrepreneurs with thought leaders in all kinds of industries. I do believe genuinely that anybody can be an innovator, no matter what space you're in. And I think what we're about to hear is about classical music. And I've interviewed someone who runs an opera company before, but never classical music, and it is somewhat related. And I think that generally there's the concept of people becoming innovators in their own world, and that being able to utilize those same trends, those same forms of creativity that are relevant for all startups. And I'm really excited right now to be joined by
Andrew Ousley.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
I think there must be, typically we don't like to start off with, okay, what does your company do? But I think in this one,
with a little framing in this one,
we're going to need some framing, right? I don't think we're going to have someone log in typically saying, okay, this is how you get more users on your app. Nope, that's not it. It's not TikTok. It's not about TikTok. It's not about Snap.
Even a little bit.
But we are going to connect it a bit more, and genuinely as well. I think I want to see more people involved in this world. And if you could tell us more about the work that your company does with classical music.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place for us to start.
Absolutely. Well, I think classical music is not a space that is known for its innovation, rampant innovation. So but what I've tried to do, I have two companies which I founded, a for-profit and a non-profit. And Unison Media is the for-profit, and we basically created an integrated approach, media approach to classical music promotion. So traditional media, social media, digital marketing, branding, kind of integrating all of those in a way that had never really been done in the classical music sphere to build momentum in the careers of artists and institutions at all levels. And so that was that. And then my nonprofit, Death of Classical, we do concerts of classical music and opera in crypts and catacombs and cemeteries. And we sort of have tried to create a different experience around the art form. Without compromising the quality of the music itself.
Amazing. You heard what he just said, crypts and catacombs, right?
Yeah. Spent a lot of time in cemeteries.
This is legit, right? Like, this is real. I would like to think about this in the context of the experiential economy, right? The experiential economy is growing so much these days. What is your perspective? Was it a chicken egg problem? Did you think of this business based off of noticing the growth in this amount of spending on experiences, or the other way around?
I thought of it the other way around, in that basically most of my friends, the vast majority of whom don't give a damn objectively about classical music, the question I asked myself was, how can I get them to want to come to a show so much that they are just knocking down the door? And so without changing the art form, what else can you do? And so basically I found spaces, the first of which was this crypt up in Harlem, this extraordinary Gothic chapel. And then we surrounded it with a broader experience. So we do like whiskey tastings, cocktails, mezcal, food, snacks, and stuff like that, charcuterie. And so people come and gather before, and they break bread, they drink, we do tastings. And so you sort of engage your aesthetic senses, sort of open yourself up to an experience. And then we either walk through the cemetery to the catacombs, walk down the stairs to the crypt, or wherever we're doing the event. And then you have a very focused, hour-long, no intermission, deeply emotional, kind of direct experience of classical music by like the top performers in the world.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
There's something, you're reaching at something deeper here though, right?
Very
And
much
I'm
so.
sure you've thought about it, you're the founder. But in my opinion, you're really reaching at something deeper, right? Which is that there is a crisis of connection and loneliness currently, especially in people of all ages, but especially in young people. I think what we're seeing is that the experiential economy is starting to grow because people have to look at these doing these crazy things, right? Objectively crazy. They're not actually crazy. As you said, they're aesthetic experiences, right? Just like anything is aesthetic experience. We hope that you felt like walking into this room was somewhat of an aesthetic experience. Not really. There's a bunch of lights around us right now.
We're well positioned.
Yeah.
We got books behind us. It's lovely.
Yes. And I'm interested in just like if you've thought about the legs of growth for your business in the context of this like crisis of loneliness that young people are facing, and whether you think that this will provide an avenue for people to be able to extend their interests, in a way that they never thought was possible.
I mean, well, it's interesting with the experience economy, because to me, one of the issues with the experience economy and the way that people meet that need is the focus is purely on, is it Instagrammable? Is it TikTokable? And that alone is not enough. And our spaces, when you go into this beautiful catacomb or this incredible crypt, they are wildly Instagrammable and really like visually compelling and sort of experience focused. And I think a lot of people who are companies that build their model around an experience economy focus fully on that. Will it be Instagrammed? But to me, that is only the sort of the top layer. There has to be a deep substance, because to me, what you're talking about, the crisis of loneliness, there is this profound hunger for authentic, shared experience of something that matters. So much of what what is flung at us today is inconsequential, or is meant to manipulate us, or meant to kind of trigger our basest emotions. And when you share an experience with others of something that is deep and authentic and profound, and that reminds us of what unites us, and that the world is more than the sum of its parts, I think that is what the experience economy is best geared towards. If it is also Instagrammable, then great. That's how you can grow and sort of use marketing tactics. But so to me, it is not just the beauty of the spaces, but is the fact that we put 50 people in a crypt, and by the end of the show, everybody is just crying their eyes out. And that sort of vulnerability and catharsis, that to me is what I'm much, much more interested in.
And it's about the music too. Sometimes when you create a product, if we were to create a live podcast experience, for example, which we have done, right? We do think a lot about the aesthetics, where it is, everything like that. But we got to understand that the conversation that we're having is the main product, right? Absolutely. That needs to be great. And I'm sure that you've done the same thing with the music. You ensure that it's the top quality, right? You can't lose track of that.
Yeah, it's the quality of the performers, who are all world class, but it's also, to me, a question of programming, because there's a lot of classical music that is great classical music, but somebody who has never been to a performance, it might be too esoteric for them. It might not speak emotionally. So to me, I focus on picking the music that I think connects directly on an emotional level to people. And I base myself as the barometer, because I've never played classical music. I came to it, my late mother was an opera singer, so I came to it sort of as somebody who appreciated it, but I never tried to play it, and I never got sort of super, super deep into it until I started working in it. But and so to me, I always program music that I think will be compelling to the people who have been to 1,000 concerts at Carnegie Hall, but equally compelling to somebody who has never heard a violin before live. And it's a challenge, but I think it's one that we've done a good job of navigating. And other than that, we program music from a 11th century nun to music that has been composed 6 months ago.
Amazing. Well, This has been quite the interview. So thank you so much for letting us know about this whole world of classical music experiences. I need to find out, I think everybody else wants to find out, where can we learn more about this?
Death of Classical. That's our website,
that's
Instagram,
what it's called?
socials. Yeah, it's tongue-in-cheek, because classical music is always lamenting its impending fate, basically like, with classical music's dying out, nobody cares about it. And to me, the art form is immortal, but we've had to kind of breathe some new life into it by putting it in a cemetery.
Brilliant. We're going to talk about another time about your branding strategies as a whole, because this is something that I would love to just break down completely.
Oh, yeah.
I learned so much from this interview. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you.